Donald Trump insulting me is a badge of honor for me, but I think we all know, as both as a educator for a couple decades and as a parent, using that term is just so damaging. You can use that word, sure, you can use that language, but you shouldn't.
Do you stand by that claim of calling Tim Walz?
I think there's something wrong with him. Absolutely, sure.
You don't think that?
You have a problem with it? You know what? I think there's something wrong with him.
In a lengthy Truth Social post Trump made on Thanksgiving, he referred to Minnesota Governor and Vice Presidential hopeful Tim Walz as seriously R-worded. His choice of words was criticized heavily not only by Walz, but also by Republican State Senator Michael Bohacek from Indiana. On Friday, he posted to Facebook, "Many of you have asked my position on redistricting. I have been an unapologetic advocate for people with intellectual disabilities since the birth of my second daughter. Those of you that don't know me or my family might not know that my daughter has Down syndrome. This is not the first time our president has used these insulting and derogatory references, and his choices of words have consequences. I will be voting no on redistricting. Perhaps he can use the next 10 months to convince voters that his policies and behavior deserve a congressional majority." The Trump administration has recently been putting more and more pressure on Republican lawmakers in states to redraw congressional district boundaries to gain Republicans more House seats in the midterms. Indiana legislators are scheduled to weigh such a partisan redistricting measure later in December. But leaders of the state's Senate have cautioned that there is not enough support in the legislative chamber to enact a congressional redistricting plan. Last month, Trump even tried to intimidate any Republicans who went against the redistricting and called for primary challenges to be mounted against them. Now, Cenk, you're seeing one immediate response to this. There will be more. I mean, it's kind of wild to see how him using that word leads to a no vote on something totally different, but essential to key Republican priorities, and it reflects this growing issue of Trump's behavior, his outbursts, causing, a ripple effect in his own party.
Yeah, I think that the reason that they're doing it is not because of the statements. In fact, I think I could even prove that within this story. I think that they're speaking out against Trump now finally because he's 24 points underwater, the worst since Richard Nixon. Again, he's back to being deeply, deeply unpopular. And even the Republicans in Congress are beginning to see that, and they're beginning to worry about their own seats if they're seen as too close to Trump. So look, let's first of all, on the bad language that he used. Republican politicians drive me crazy when they do this. I remember there was a Republican from the Midwest, and he came out and said, "Oh my God, I used to be against gay marriage and different kinds of gay rights, but it turns out my son is gay, so now I'm in favor." You know that other people are also human. It doesn't just happen to your son or somebody in your family or yourself. You could actually react with empathy even if it's not someone in your family. And again, this Indiana guy, he doesn't mind all the terrible things that Trump says about other people in the rest of the message, but you use the R word, and my daughter has Down syndrome, so now it personally affects me. Now I'm upset, and now I'm not gonna let you do redistricting. Not the way that I would have wished that it would go down, but I'm glad they're not doing the redistricting. The gerrymandering is, I hate it, I can't stand it. It's an attempt at political manipulation, and I'm glad that Trump paid some sort of price for his constant badgering of everyone in a way that is unhinged. And I mean, to me, again, look, let's break down the different transgressions here. So he criticizes Tim Walz, so what? Tim Walz is another politician. He calls him a bad word, some people are upset, etc. Okay, but inside his message, the same message, he said he characterized 53 million foreign-born people inside the country, the great majority of whom are legal US citizens, 100% citizens inside the country. They just happen to be born somewhere else. He characterized them as like roving predators who are gonna butcher you and carve you up. Most of them are US citizens. And he says mentally unhinged things like, oh, other countries are taking people out of their prisons and mental institutions and bringing them to the border and releasing them. That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Only a lunatic mind would believe that. There's no evidence of that at all. No other country has ever done that. And he just says it. There's never any proof or never even an attempt to prove it. Just, I hate foreigners. Even if they're US citizens, I despise them and I'll make up the most outrageous lies about them. And everybody's like, oh, that's totally fine. Yeah, that's normal demagoguery. Yeah, of course you hate the foreigners. You said something about that affects my daughter. Now I'm really mad. Okay, good, I'm glad you're mad, but the rest of us are also here. And if you get a sense of, from all the demagoguery that you hear nonstop about people who weren't born here, oh my God, it's just a storm. Oh my God, there's 53 million people. 16% of the country is foreign born. Again, the overwhelming majority of them are citizens. Who gives a damn where they were born? I know, some do. By the way, if you do, and you're like, no, national blood and soil. I know, yeah, okay, but be careful about what you're saying. Okay, but all right, we've decided that we allow citizenship here. But no, we're gonna demagogue about those people anyway, who are good people, etc. And because it's out of control, is it? Canada's rate is 22%. Switzerland and Australia are 29% and 30% foreign born. And that's why Switzerland is a madhouse. You see how they can't control anything. Canada and Australia are riddled with crime. Oh right, none of those things happen because it's all BS, made up junk for inside of Donald Trump's crazed mind. If there's one person who's crazed here, it isn't Tim Walz, it's definitely Donald Trump. You know what TYT's always been about? Taking on the corrupt, greedy establishment. For us, it's the corporate media. We've been fighting that fight for over 20 years. For the cell phone industry, it's the same story. A handful of massive corporations ripping you off. That's why we're partnering with Noble Mobile. They're the only wireless company with the same mission as ours, to fight back. Their no bull plan offers unlimited data for just $50 a month. But here's the best part. For any data you don't use, you get cash back. Real money you can spend however you want. Stop letting your unused data pad the pockets of billionaires. With Noble, you take control over your data. And by switching to Noble, you're directly supporting TYT in our mission of bringing you honest, independent news. So give Noble a try and make the switch today. Scan the QR code on the screen now or visit go.tyt.com/plan. That's go.tyt.com/plan.
I mean, I'm just really curious to see how these redistricting fights go. I mean, I don't think this will be the one issue that causes defections. I think it's going to be, like you said, his unpopularity. They don't really want to fall on this unprecedented hill. Like Texas is just a unique beast. They're explicitly saying we're doing this so we can get more seats. It's going to be a lot harder in some of these other states. I mean, Indiana is a purely red state, but some of the other ones they might try this in. I don't know how successful they're going to be. And this is one thing that was my concern after California understandably did that in response to Texas. I was just worried it was going to be a race to the bottom. And then you see more and more states doing this mid-decade redistricting, and it puts us even farther away from a system free of partisan gerrymandering. And I don't know how it's going to look in the midterms, but hopefully more outbursts, more bad behavior, more unpopularity, more bad polling for Trump dissuades Republicans from jumping on.
Yeah, look, last two quick things here. Guys, first of all, the real crime here out of all of this stuff is forget the offense that people take, gerrymandering. That's where the politicians draw their maps in such insane ways so they pick their voters so they have no chance of losing. So we don't get to pick our politicians. The politicians pick the particular voters that they want. Gerrymandering is a crime against democracy and against the American people. We need to wipe it out from blue and red states completely and regain our government. So join me on the program we do at 8 o'clock Eastern every day. 6 to 8 o'clock is the Young Turks, Monday through Friday. And then at 8 o'clock Eastern on YouTube and everywhere else. We're on almost every platform. And at 8 o'clock Eastern, I do the Revolution because we need to all gather together and upend this crazy system. Because if we have gerrymandering in all the states, our votes are totally useless in those particular seats because they've already been jerry-rigged so that the scummy politician who drew the lines is guaranteed to win. can't stand it. Lastly, the reason why there's a rebellion, as I told you earlier, it's not close, guys. To give you context, when Donald Trump first came in, he was only at -1, which is a great number for Trump. Historically, he's been, in the first term, even before the elections, in significant minus territory, but he was doing pretty well. And remember, he won all 7 swing states, he won the popular vote, so he's surging coming in. And in under a year, he's down to -24. I don't think people are understanding that that's a catastrophe politically. That's the same kind of catastrophe that Biden was in when all the Democrats buried their head in the sand and were like, oh, he's fine, he's fine. I'm like, -24 is not fine, it's catastrophic. And that's where Trump is right now. And that's why you're seeing some of the early rats beginning to abandon ship. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.